Breaking news, actually two of them. Now the deal between US and Kenya about Ebola has already been done. It's been concluded. And as of the time of this recording, we can now authoritatively confirm to you that the base where the quarantine facility of Ebola is going to be put is in Laikipia. So let's keep tabs and see how it goes, because people have been speculating that it will actually be there. So let's see how this case develops. Stay tuned.
Even if that is the last option ya kuimprove healthcare system in Kenya, wacha ikae. We do not want it. Unataka kutuletea Ebola Kenya, hatujai kuwa na kesi hata moja. Hao haitaki kwa country yao. Wanataka ikuje kwetu itumalize sisi juu sisi hatufai kuishi. And you're here typing, it will improve, it will improve. We do not want it. Hatutaki hiyo improvement, wacha ikae. We are okay like that. Unajua Ebola ni nini wewe? Do you really know what Ebola is? Haina treatment. Haina kinga, haina cure. What are you talking about? Wacha ikae. Tikabe. We do not want. Don't wacha ikae.
So guys, in case you missed it, yes, the Ebola patients are officially in Kenya. Na imesemekana watajengewa hiyo quarantine center in Laikipia County. So watu wa Laikipia, I don't know. And you know what is so ironical about this whole situation? Kinaya kwa hii situation yote ni ati we can't even handle a malaria outbreak as a country. We can't even handle a typhoid outbreak. People die. Cholera outbreak, we lose people because we can't handle it. But Ebola, bring it on, bring it on. I don't know if Kenyans understand the intensity of this thing. Munajua Ebola ni nini nyinyi? Munajua Ebola ni nini? Ebu ulizeni, tuchunguzeni kenye lifanyikia watu wa Uganda hapa venye walikuwa na Ebola. Chunguzeni. Na continue to say, we are fully prepared to handle. For me, I feel like the president hates this country. At this point, you can't convince me that Ruto does not hate Kenya and Kenyans. He resents us. He hates us to his core. Because you can't do this to someone you love. Just say him one time.
Being Kenyan is an extreme sport. SHA ikose kufanya. Gloves hakuna kwa level 6 hospital. Yani hakuna, unatumwa nje uende ununue. KEMSA ikae na dawa for 1 year worth $1 billion hadi zi expire. But for some reason, the PS of health amekaa hivi akaona sisi watu wenye bado tuna deal na jigas vitu tuko na capacitation ya kusaidia watu wako exposed to Ebola ama sijui ndo patients. Aieleweki. Tufunge nchi for one day, tuombe, tuiweke kwa femicide. Watoto wanapotea, watoto wanachomeka huku na moto. Pesa ya serikali inapotea after every 5 seconds. Londo hii inatunyonga tukiwa bado hai. Unazaa mtoto kabla apumue the first breath anadaiwa 1200. We cannot comprehend too. Yeah.
An advice kwa President Ruto. Tayari wa Kenya wanakuchukia. Saizi usiendelee kutafuta vile unachukiwa na wa Kenya. Tafuta vile unapendeza wa Kenya kwa issues zenye wamekuambia. Mambo na Trump na kuweka quarantine ya Ebola hapa Kenya, apeleke US. Hapa Kenya sisi si wagonjwa. Hapa Kenya hakuna mtu wako na Ebola. Hao ndio walienda Kongo kutafuta madini. Sisi hatujaenda huko Kongo kutafuta gold. So wao mngangane na shida zao. Sisi Kenya tuko sawa. Apeleke quarantine wapi? Apeleke quarantine US. Wewe mheshimiwa rais sasa hivi focus on ng'ang'ana na mambo ya mafuta, tengeneza bei ya mafuta, tengeneza mambo na masomo, tengeneza mambo na SHA, tengeneza barabara, endelea kuweka stima. Wacha kutafuta kuchukiwa na Wakenya side. Usipende sana kuchukiwa Wakenya, ama wewe ndio unachukia Wakenya.
Laikipia Airbase in Nanyuki. It is now confirmed that the quarantine facility is being built in Laikipia Airbase. And the team is already here. Kwa hivyo, wanaendelea kujenga the quarantine facility. Guys, sisi kama watu wa Nanyuki tumekataa. Hamtatuletea ugonjwa, hamtakuja kutuua huku. We have refused. Secondly, our leadership, Joshua Irongo, Senator Kenywa, Jen Kagiri, Mwangi Kionjure, and these MCAs that we have. What are you saying about this? Kama mkukuwa consulted, sasa kuanzia kesho tunataka muongee. Kama watu wameona news za saa moja, it is confirmed. Citizen wamesema it is in Laikipia Airbase. Huko ndiko wanajenga hapa Nanyuki hapa. Guys, Ebola si COVID. And guys, you're going to experience a total shutdown. Or just in case kamtutu kamoja kapatikane na hiyo Ebola huku nje. And now, the Ministry of Health, wenye tunakuwaga na drama now left, right and center, 50 billion imepotea, and 7 billion, 11 billion imepotea. Ndio watu wanasema they are able to host these Ebola patients. Na huko madispensary hakuna madawa, kwa madawa hakuna. Watu wa dialysis, guys, the streets are calling. The streets are calling. Oh. Msishangae na skin yangu. Hii ni mask nilikuwa nimepaka. Ndio nataka you guys.
The American government must have respect for other governments. You want to tell us that space imeisha USA. So, there is no way these patients can be treated na wakuwe monitored in American land. They must just be brought to Kenya ndio wakuwe monitored and treated huku. You want to expose our people to Ebola? That is what America now wants, right? Mumeona hii ugonjwa ni poa na sisi, sio poa na nyinyi. No, this is not the right thing. We cannot be like, sisi hatuna Ebola bado, then at America wants to set a camp here in Kenya to treat people wa Ebola wenye wamekuwa exposed to Ebola. Any deal that is being stricken na watu wa America, mia watu sionagi wazuri. These Americans wanajipenda sana. They only want to be superior. Right now they are the one causing war huko Iran. They are fighting people right, left and center, and you don't have to talk. You must be supporting them. This is now the problem. If you don't support them, sanctions, right, left and center. And that is why I love the President Museveni hapa nyuma. Museveni is a no-nonsense man, and America knows wana setting boundaries to when it comes to Museveni. We cannot welcome this in our country. This is so wrong. Get this to another country or your own country. America has enough land. Kwani sisi mnatuona aje?
Breaking news. Now, President Donald Trump has issued a directive to the U.S. Army. He has told them to set up a quarantine facility here in Kenya by Thursday next week. That is 1 week. He has given them 1 week. Now, it is because they want to host American citizens who already are exposed to Ebola here in Africa, so that they can protect their homeland from being infested by Ebola.
Kenya tuko pabaya. So the reason as to why our president and our government has agreed kukubali wale wagonjwa wa Ebola wenye wanatoka Congo waletwe Kenya na watengeneze zile quarantine centers zitengenezwe Kenya, it is all because of money. So today, the US government has approved 80 billion US dollars. Unasikia? 80 billion US dollars, which translates to 10.3 billion Kenyan shillings. Unasikia? So Kenya is going to receive 10.3 billion shillings kuangalia hiyo maneno, and that is why they have agreed kuleta hiyo watengeneze hiyo center za quarantine hapa Kenya. It is all because of money. 10.3 billion. Ndio sababu unasikia wanasema ati wao wako prepared. Simesikia wewe ni wa health akisema ati wako prepared, Kenya iko na uwezo wa kuangalia ugonjwa. It is all because of money. So US government has approved 80 billion US dollars, which equates or is equivalent to 10.3 billion shillings kuangalia hiyo maneno hiyo ugonjwa. And that is why our government imeamua na imekubali waletwe hapa Kenya. It is money. Yani ameamua tu a risk na health ya wa Kenya, but so long as hiyo pesa wapate. And we all know hiyo pesa inaenda kufanya nini. Majority of it haitaenda kutumika kwa hizo vitu zenye wanataka. It is just because they want to loot. Wanataka tu any chance ya pesa. Yani akisikia tu harufu ya pesa mahali haisi acha. How much is enough? How much is enough for this guy? Even risking the lives of citizens of Kenyans. Even risking the lives of Kenyans. The lives of his own citizens. The ones he is leading. He doesn't care. As long as there is money, he will do anything. So, ni pesa 10.3 billion. Ni kubaya.
Do you know how crazy it is to use our country as a quarantine hub for Ebola? And no one is batting an eye. Hakuna mtu anastuka. Do you guys know what Ebola is? Do you know what Ebola can do to a nation? Ebola wipes us out. Achana na COVID, achana na hizi sijui mnasemanga sijui nini antivirus mko mnaona mnogo. Ebola can what hata nimenyongwa. I feel like weird shit is happening in Kenya and no one is like giving two cares. I feel like tunashinda tu tukiambiwa bad news after bad news after bad news. Bad things are happening and no one is truly doing anything, including me and you. And I feel like even if we say, oh, we're doing this, oh, we complain here and there, I don't think anything is changing. And I feel like it's high time we take accountability for our own country, because ukiangalia the direction we're going, it's getting worse and worse. Every single day there's something. But then we get it. You don't care about politics. You don't care about your country, but you live here, bitch. You do live here. You do live. As long as you're here now, anything affects you. Whether you're apolitical, whether you don't know or you know, everything and anything happening is affecting you, directly or indirectly. Bro, quarantine ya Ebola. Mtu mmoja akitoka hapo nje ishike tu Mkenya wengine tu kawa wawili watatu. We don't even have the health facilities to facilitate that, our own people. Another country using us as a quarantine hub. Do you know how crazy that has to be? Do you know the levels of madharau that is? And it's always, why is it always they know, oh, cha 22 Kenya? You should ask yourself that question. Mbona wako so easy to accept? Why? Genuine crazy shit is happening. Crazy shit, weird. And nothing is happening. And I hope and beg something truly does happen. Please.
At this rate, we will have to homeschool our children. All of us have seen the news. There are talks between America and our country on bringing sick American citizens here to be treated here, as if Americans do not have their own quarantine facilities. Now, there are things I have noticed, and this is my opinion. Now, there is no way that this US president asked this question without knowing that our leader is so compromised and is, can willingly be bought. So he asked him. He would never dare ask Kagame. He will not dare ask Museveni. He will not dare ask any other country, because our leader is the only one who may just accept it because of how he is. Let's not even go deep into those details. Now, they set up a quarantine in Kenya. Kenyans, first and foremost, Kenyans have never dealt with Ebola. Ever. We are literally, our medical personnel, they have never been like the Congo medical personnel. Those are people who've dealt with Ebola for decades. These ones haven't. So this guy probably sat down and thought to himself, which president in Africa would accept for me to protect my own citizens and endanger his own? I told you all that these politicians don't care about us. They don't give a shit. They don't care. Because a leader will never agree to such a term. Put the citizens in danger. This is a virus. It's a new strain. Haina vaccine. Si kama hizo za kitambo. Hii haina vaccine. Wakuje. Waingie huku. Ikitu mortality rate is so high. People are dying so badly. We will have to homeschool our kids. Hizi protest hakuna mali zinatupeleka at this point. Hakuna protest hapa. We have failed over and over with our protests because of the kind of people who lead these protests, who end up being bought at every turn. I don't know how much more screwed as a country we are, but I think this is proper screwed. And this guy could have asked even South Africa, but he can't dare because they would never agree. So he must have asked himself, which president in Africa doesn't care about his people and has a price? All I have to do is give him something and he will allow my citizens to go there. People who've had Ebola in the past in America, they've been taken to America na wanaponanga huko. Huko wanaponanga because they have amazing medical facilities when it comes to dehydration. Ebola dehydrates your body. They keep fluids up. They do all those things. Nini. I'm not a doctor here to start saying what's supposed to be done, but I know people who have survived from this deadly disease in America. But hawataki huko. This man doesn't want his people endangered. As much as this president has an issue, people in America don't like him. As much as they don't like him, he loves his people. He will never endanger them. So all he had to do was to look for what? The one who is willing to endanger his own people at a price. And because these people feels Kenyans hawanipendi, kwendeni huko, mmekuwa mkinyesha, wacheni ni waoneshe. Jameni, tuachie hapo. Lazima tufanye kazi ndio tuweze kutafuta mafuta ama tutembee. Ni hayo tu kwa sasa.
Ebola ishafika Kenya. We have a few suspected cases, but the interesting thing is the government has decided that we are able to handle the Ebola cases. I've not seen any trainings going around for healthcare workers, but apparently we are going to have a facility that majorly takes care of Americans because they're the ones who are funding the system and they're the ones who are funding the facility. Honestly, Kenya is a joke. Kama uko kwa process ya kwenda majuu, please usijaribu kuchukua hizo kazi. Najua hizo locums zinakuja. Please usijaribu kuchukua hizo kazi because you might actually end up contacting the disease and then it will sabotage where you're at in terms of the journey. Si mnaelewa hii maneno. But for the people who are unemployed, please take the jobs. I know they will provide proper PPEs and there will be trainings because you need to take care of Americans properly. Anyways, Kenya is my country and I love it. Every day we have something new. Yeah, bye.
Trump just said that every American citizen who's infected with Ebola should be brought to Kenya, my guy. And excuse my language, I don't mean should. He said he will bring them to Kenya. He said that this is for monitoring and treating purposes. That is how much America thinks lowly of you guys. That instead of rather them receiving and treating them, because they have better facilities than Africa, for sure, and more resources to handle that type of situation. But you know what? Just in case we don't want it to leak in the US, we don't want it to leak and spread, we're just going to send it to Kenya. You Kenyans deal with it. And if it ever creates an outbreak here in Africa, shauri yenyu. That is how lowly America thinks of you guys. Because tell me why these people would rather risk an outbreak in Kenya of Ebola rather than actually treating their own citizens in their own country. Let me tell you, kiasi in a few you'll just be hearing that Ebola has an official outbreak in Kenya, and you should know why. Because the Kenya government is not going to tell Trump no. There is no Kenyan administration that has ever stood up to the American government, which is the sad part. So you know, if a statement like that is already being made, you just know they're going to allow this thing to happen. And very soon, you're going to hear Ebola is in our borders. And there is nothing you people or anybody can do about it. And the thing is, we've never, as my memory serves me right, I have never had an Ebola outbreak in Kenya. In our bordering countries, yes. Uganda, yes. In Kenya, no. Like a very, very severe outbreak. And you know how Ebola is dangerous. You know, Ebola, you bleed from all holes of your body, your eyes, your ears, your mouth. And the fatality rate is high. People die in less than 3 days, in less than 1 week. I'm telling you, if this happens, the amount of protesting that you should do to the American government and and to the Kenyan government, acha tu, because that's crazy. Is Kenya being used as a testing? We don't even have our own health facilities running well. They want to set up facilities here in Africa, just especially for American citizens with Ebola cases. That is crazy. Essentially, we're just allowing Ebola into our borders because they're not ferrying in healthy people. The people who will be coming in to seek those treatments, those American citizens who will be coming in, will have Ebola. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Kusema tu kweli, gavana yetu ya Kenya imekubali Ebola patients or people who are exposed to Ebola wadampiwe Kenya. Because nasoma kwa page ya Trump administration vile wanasema wanakuja kujenga facility. I do not understand. Why would our Kenyan government allow that? We are not even prone to Ebola. We all know the countries that are prone to Ebola. Mbona waendi kwa hizo country kujenga hizo facility? Wanataka kuleta Kenya. Make it make sense, guys. What is going on with the Kenyan government? Why do you guys want to expose everybody in the country to Ebola?
There is no way everybody is quiet about the fact that the US government is denying their own citizens to be treated in their own country. Own citizens. And now they want to set up a facility in Kenya just because they are scared of the Ebola. We are still having enough issues in our own country. We don't want any leakage. We don't want any leakage of Ebola in our country. You can imagine the damage and the crisis. Mind you, we are a third world country where such treatments may take even a while, leave alone logistics from America to here. And these are the people who want to do their own treatment here in Kenya. What type of treatment do we have? Why not allow them in their own country? Now, the state spokesman of the United States of America is proudly saying they are protecting their international world health regulations. Kwani, don't we have enough regulations in our country not to allow a pandemic in our own country? We want to go to another lockdown because we are favoring the Americans to be treated in Kenya. Me, I'm not into any politics. I'm not a political affiliated guy. I'm just airing my views as a Kenyan citizen, and it's high time our own president, Mr. William Samoei Ruto, tafadhali, don't allow such to happen in our own country. No, any small leakage, and you know the greedy people in our country may voluntarily even allow that to start happening, so that some of them can start benefiting from the, from that. We don't want any, we have the elderlies in our country, we have children, we have our life here in Kenya. We are Ebola free country. don't start it. Don't start. We have seen so many movies. That's how they start. One small leakage of Ebola and we are in for a pandemic. Tafadhali serikali, as a Kenyan citizen, as an influencer, as a son to someone, as a brother to someone, and as a boyfriend to someone, I am begging you, Mr. President, do not allow a facility of Ebola to be put in our country just because we want to treat the Americans. We have humanity in our hearts, and that's why we are airing out not to allow that. Asante sana, Mr. President, and the Ministry of Health, and my fellow Kenyans for standing with me so that we can air this out. And if you love your parents, you love your family, you love everybody around you, don't keep quiet about it. If that's happening here in our country, we are going to have a leakage of Ebola in our country, which is Ebola free, and that's one of the biggest crises in the world right now. There is no even single vaccine that stops that pandemic. Thank you.